over that direction when we had a groundbreaking. Remember the big tent and all the rest, and a welcome which was begun in the Christensen Center just now. So please consider yourself welcomed, and we'll move on. The original impulse to replace some of the old houses on campus with a new, safe, energy efficient, and all the other good things structure came from the Board of Regents. It was in the early 1980s, as I recall. We did have a carefully done study at that time, a task force. One of the faculty reps is right here. Eddie Hertzberg was on that study. Now it's taken us 10 years to do it. We don't rush into things here, but it is significant that we have moved along. And Clayt was pushing on that, and Don Grandard, the chairperson who succeeded Clayton. And it's obvious, I think, that a project of this sort could not be undertaken without the leadership and support of the Board of Regents. Now, Don was the chairperson when one big push came. The current chair, now in his 11th year as a board member, is here to bring us greetings from the current Board of Regents, Mr. Rodney Burwell.
Well, it truly is an honor for me to represent the Board of Regents, to be here tonight looking at this wonderful residence hall. I think listening to Oscar speak tonight, in the testimony from Oscar, I think it's just wonderful that we're able to name this building after Oscar Anderson. It's not just Anderson, Oscar, it's Oscar Anderson building. We didn't have quite enough room for all the rest of it on the cornerstone. They charged by the letter when they engraved it all. And it really was a privilege to be part of the decision to name this building after Oscar Anderson. In fact, after listening about it tonight a little bit, I think maybe the next step is to think about the name of the college. Maybe we should just call it Anderson and Anderson College. Oscar, I want you to know the Board of Regents is working hard to build on the traditions and the foundations you established at this institution. And we're very privileged to have Chuck Anderson as our president and our leader in this wonderful institution. And I want you to know from our hearts, Oscar, we're working hard, like I say, to maintain your vitality, your vision, do the things that you would have done if you were here. So thank you much for your leadership over the years. I want you to also know that a lot of the people in this celebration are responsible for the things that are going on in Augsburg, the new building, the Foss Center, and now this building. And, you know, if we all get together a little bit, we could have the library a lot quicker. The 21st Century Fund is doing pretty well, but really, Chuck Anderson really wants the library, so we need the help. So anyway, thank you all for being here, and I'm very proud to be part of this celebration.
Groundbreaking a year ago, one of the interesting speakers was Linda Hallberg. Linda came here 16 years ago to work in student services. She is now the Associate Dean of Students, and we have found that her expertise in various forms of student housing throughout the country, and the study she's made of that, and her taste in furnishings and color were invaluable in the design and construction and the finishing of this structure. And I'd like to have you welcome Linda Schrempel-Hallberg.
Good evening. Again, we've all been warned about saying short things, and so I will try to make my comments brief and as well as meaningful. You've probably all recognized already that you are involved in a very historic moment at Augsburg College. Most of the evening you have had an opportunity to hear stories of the college, and particularly about one special person who has shaped both our buildings and the soul of Augsburg College, and that's Oscar Anderson. The president has already talked about the original task force in 1980, and it probably shouldn't have come to a surprise to me that the basic concepts which emerged in that task force, such as the need for space to develop community, and the needs for variety of living options, and the importance of security and attention to issues of multi-use and our urban setting are still important today as we began this project in 1990. Frankly, when this project began, I thought of it primarily as kind of a bricks and mortar project. And over the past 3 years, I've come to understand a little bit more about Churchill's statement when he said, "We shape our buildings and then they shape us." To a seasoned builder like Oscar Anderson, my experience would not seem unique. There's no doubt in my mind that Oscar is probably chuckling to himself and delighted to see that this woman who came as a spunky, fresh-faced young professional has discovered something that he's known for a long time, that a building is more than bricks and mortar. As a 16-year employee, my colleagues often razz me about my longevity at the institution. That's getting to be a bigger joke to them because they haven't been here as long. I continue to tell them that my job has never been the same 2 years in a row, and that when it is, I will have to leave. This comment probably says something about me, but more importantly, I think it says something about Augsburg College. Augsburg has always embraced the idea that tradition and innovation are born of one another. This new building, as well as many that have preceded it, are examples of innovation that have become a tradition. In a few weeks, Pinemew and Miriam House will be taken down. As I walked through those houses last week, I found myself appreciating even more the individual living spaces and state-of-the-art technology, the community spaces, the great bathrooms and water pressure that are in Anderson Hall. Although I do have to admit that even though my eyes could see the wares and the flaws and all those broken parts in the houses, my heart remembers those students who live there, those people who fixed up their rooms for my visits. And I'm particularly impressed knowing that many of them discovered the people and the places that have been important in shaping their lives. I know that Anderson Hall has already begun to shape some of us, and I'm confident that it will continue to be an important part of Augsburg College. So as you walk through this building tonight, I hope to hear some ahas, and a few they should have. But most of all, I hope that you will find that the shape of this building reflects the dreams and the care that you have expressed both for Augsburg College and for Oscar Anderson. Thank you for celebrating with us and taking part in our story. It is my privilege to bring forth 4 students who will be placing items in the time capsule that will go along with the building. They will introduce themselves as well as give a message about the item that they're placing in the time capsule. Heidi?
My name is Heidi Wisner. I'm a recent graduate of Augsburg and also former student body vice president. I'm bringing forward a copy of the invitation to tonight's event to honor the contributions and leadership of Oscar Anderson, recognizing their importance in our future. Hello, I'm Stacy Keating. I'm a junior and I will be next year's student body vice president. I'm bringing forward the box which will hold the videotape of tonight's event to ensure the story of this event will live on.
Hello, my name is David Swanson. I'm a senior at Augsburg College and served as a resident advisor in this past year. I am bringing forward a copy of the Keymaker Award. This award is given at the senior breakfast to a student in our class program for learning and physically challenged students. It is given to someone who has met great challenges in their walk through the academic process. This award reads, "Some people see a closed door and turn away. Others see a closed door, try the knob. If it doesn't open, they turn away. Still others see a closed door, they try the knob. If it doesn't open, they find a key. doesn't fit, they turn away. A rare few see a closed door, try the knob. If it doesn't open, they find a key. If it doesn't fit, they make one.
Hello, my name is Michelle Poitra. I'm a senior here at Augsburg and a member of the American Indian Support Program. I'm bringing forward 2 items for this capsule. A copy from Ford to Freeway, A History of Augsburg College by Professor Emeritus Carl H. Krislock to represent the traditions and stories which have gone before us. A weaving representing all the colors of our cultures and peoples of the world. It's the hopes and dreams of all people that will shape our future.
Can we please recognize our students for their contributions? You will have the opportunity to be involved with students in a couple other occasions in this building. Later, when you go in, you will find tour guides located throughout the building, and you will walk around and they will stay in place, and you can ask them questions, and they will take you into the spaces, and you can go in and see the rooms for yourself and sort of kick the tires. I also would like to make a comment that when you're in the meeting room, which is located on the first floor, I would highly recommend that you walk in and see a framed shadow box, including Christmas plates, which were a gift of both Oscar and Lee to the college during the years that they were here, and we are honored to have that in the meeting room at this time. Thank you.
Now the dedication. If you look in a dictionary, you see the word dedication comes from a Latin verb, dedicare, which means to give out tidings, a notice, or hence it means to affirm, to declare, to announce, or in some instances it means to set something aside for a particular use. We are setting something aside for a particular use tonight, and our action is based upon certain affirmations of the past and of the future. We affirm the contributions quite beyond number of Oscar and Lee, his family, to Augsburg College. We affirm their passion for education, for life in the presence of God, for good things and joy in each other, and for family ties. We want to say something about this so they do not forget, nor are they forgotten. At the same time as we affirm the past, we affirm and embrace the present. Every building, like a birth, if you will, is a statement of confidence in the future. It is like a voice which, faced with the cacophony of doubt and questions, begins its response with the word, nevertheless. We affirm a future in God's providence and establish a place of learning, of service, and of personal development. In affirmation and thanksgiving, we now therefore bless and dedicate the Anderson Residence Hall to the growth and health of our students, to the service of the larger community, and to the glory of God. Let us pray. Dear Lord God, God of wisdom, truth, and power, bless and keep Augsburg College as it runs the course set before it, to teach students about the delights of creation, to free them by the clear presence of your word and spirit so that they may go forth into the world ready to serve wherever they have been called. We offer this building to your glory and dedicate it to your service. May all who reside here, all who pass through these halls, all who study in these rooms be touched by your gospel and called to witness to your power and grace in their lives. Amen. Peace be unto this house and to all who enter it. Amen. There is a little ritual I don't completely understand in which the builder gives a ceremonial key to the owner. And that's what we're doing. 2 or 3 keys from the Foss Center, and I guess I'm supposed to keep them. But I have tried those keys. They don't open anything. I'm a pragmatist at heart. I have also looked at this. This will not get you into this building nor into my office, and so I think it would be nice if, as another memorabilia, Oscar Anderson had the key to the building. Now, reflections, another introduction. Is there anyone here who doesn't know Oscar Anderson at this point? If you want to see me after the program, I'll discuss that with you, but I just think it'd be nice if you just stand up, Oscar. That's your introduction.
Thank you very much. I'm still overwhelmed at what is taking place and how well everything has been handled with such flair, such beauty, and such significance. Reflections. It's getting dark and not much will reflect from your head or mine. Education was once defined as Mark Hopkins on one end of the log and James Garfield on the other. We need a place to learn. We need the log. But there is a bond between where you live and where you learn. And even Garfield had to admit that the learning took place in a log hut. Augsburg is unique in its quest for place. 124 years ago, since 124 years ago, students have lived in a profusion of places in connection with Augsburg. August Benos took a half a dozen students from Paxton, Illinois, up to Marshall, Wisconsin, to a little academy, and there set up Augsburg. He was kicked out after 1 year because of a church fight. And he had to move into his own residence where his students lived, and they studied, and they taught, and they worshiped in Cooper's attic. Then came the move to that lot in 1872. There they raised old Maine. Very few here remember old Maine. Then they built a frame dormitory over where Chuck's office is called North Hall. And then when women came on the campus, they took a couple of professors' residences right there where the science hall is, and a couple of apartments professors lived in at a place called Morton Hall. They took those and turned them into women's residences. Then Memorial Hall was built as a dormitory for men. Then Army barracks came in to house some of the veterans. Dr. Sievertson from Fairview Hospital donated his clinic building across the street from Fairview, and that became Sievertson Hall. The first Gerda Mortensen residence was built next to it. And dozens of old houses have been purchased and used for student housing. All of these are gone, except one, and it is no longer a dormitory, Memorial Hall, which is now used for administrative purposes. In their places, we have Ernest Tower, Mortensen Tower, and now this magnificent residence. As we heard, old houses are still being used, but it was interesting to hear that some are going to go under the boulevard and therefore make more room for building greensward and parking. Now we have come to another step in this odyssey, this quest for place to live and place to learn. We echo the words of Oliver Wendell Holmes build thee more stately mansions, O my soul. But all of this is a double drive. A drive for new residences and a drive for a new library and learning facilities. Everything is moving ahead. I want to make a brief statement, however, about those who have not had the privilege of living in a place on campus. I'm talking about the commuting student. Augsburg is in an urban setting. Many have come here and still come here to learn, but stay at home to live. That was my personal experience in my years at Augsburg. The first year, I came on a streetcar from St. Paul, past Washington Avenue, down Washington Avenue, 7 Corners, and up Cedar, and up Riverside. That was the first year. I said to a freshman girl once, I came to Augsburg every day on a streetcar. She said, you mean there were streetcars in Minneapolis? She thought there were only in San Francisco. But the second year, I had an old car. We called it Hepzibah, which we found out meant my glory is in her. And then we changed it to Ichabod, departed glory. But it was a chore to get that car started down Hendon Hill, because that was one of the worst winters in Minnesota. And the only way to get it started was to put it into second gear, keep your foot on the clutch, and as you got down the hill, pull out the clutch and hope to goodness it would start. I made that trip with my father because he taught over at LBI, and on the way to the college, I stopped at Chicago and 17th and picked up a gentleman by the name of Bernard Christensen. He had no car, and I was able to provide him with some transportation. Why do I say this? Because though students come here to learn, to be a commuting student means that you come here to learn how to cope. You learn how to cope with balky cars, uncertain schedules, terrible weather, traffic, and the problem of parking. I wouldn't be too put out if, should I live, I would be invited to the dedication of an honest-to-goodness parking ramp at Augsburg College. It's something to think about for the future. So I gratefully accept this honor and this wonderful key to nothing in the honest hope and faith that those who learn and live and cope will be like the chambered Nautilus, build thee more stately mansions of the soul. And then, as the poem indicates, leave to be free, free to continue living in new places, free to cultivate learning in new places, and freedom to serve in new places. But above all, free to follow the one who has gone on ahead with the promise, I go to prepare a place for you. Soli Deo Gloria.
The ribbon cutting will officially open our way, and we hope you will all follow along. I'm going to thank a number of people again. Before we do that, that will be the end. We're very grateful to Solvik Mathry, the architects, for this project. I think Fitz is here. We're very grateful to Kraus Anderson. This is 2 for 2 as far as I'm concerned. Barry Yeager was up here. Where are you? Probably, I was going to say you gave me the key and left, but here you are. The Foss Center was constructed by that company, and now this structure, and we're grateful to them. And special recognition and commendation to 2 persons on our own staff, Jim Liniger and Linda Alberg, still over here. These were really the owner's reps, and they worked constantly and closely with the builders Also, a special recognition to Michael Ranum, who is somewhere back there in finance and management. All the work on negotiating the loan and the rest was done by Michael and his people. And just in passing, he's way off on the side. I want to thank Bert Sandberg. He's my friend and helper in anything that we build here or will build in the future. And thanks to all of you. Now we have 5 or 6 or 12. How many people are going to cut ribbons? Start with us. Very good, of course. Appropriate.
I just don't,
I think there's even more food in there if you want. But, look around the place.
Are you gonna go school or do you want to go? First floor. Just first floor? All right, first floor.